Hi, Eucharist. Jill's back.
Hi, Eucharist. It's nice to be back.
Wanted to give you all a few updates about the fall, since we are currently in the fall and have recently been able to figure out where we're going. So a couple of quick updates. One is that we are going to reserve meeting in person for a little while longer, and for September we're going to continue to meet primarily for our gathering time on Wednesday nights. And it was kind of, I think, your idea initially. I was like, let's go for September, but you made this good point that no one's feeling settled this September.
No, and I think we all recognize that just because it's September and things are supposed to start in September, that just doesn't necessarily feel that right this year. And part of that has been us trying to anticipate where COVID was going to go, and part of that's recognizing that lots of you have new starts and kids going to school and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of kind of even COVID uncertainty, and that it probably just was better for everyone concerned to just stall back for September and keep doing what we're doing, and then try to change it up the beginning of October.
Yeah, so for September we're going to meet online. We're going to be trying to really share good news, because that's what we need one less to do in our life and one place to get some good news. And trying to do that through looking again at the Eucharist values, those 5 values all of you have memorized and occasionally tattooed on your bodies. The values officially of our congregation, which we're going to look at and kind of explore how do these values speak now, not in 2010, 2011 when we formed as a community, but in this particular time. So we're excited about that. That'll be Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Oh, you can go on the website and hunt them down if you want. We don't need to waste your time with that right now. I've got 5, but they slip occasionally and the order's always off. They're still great stuff. So we're going to talk a bit about that element of our community and what we feel called into in this time. So 8 p.m. on Zoom until October. But a couple other things before we go to October.
Before we leave that,
sure.
If you haven't been joining us for Zoom, and lots of people haven't been for lots of reasons over the course of the summer, please feel free.
Yeah,
it's at 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. It's a 1-hour service, not much more than that. It's pretty simple. It's sort of a song and music, or a song and music, and communion, and a short conversation about something, and really that's all that it is. So even if you haven't been with us for a while, but you're sort of wanting to get back into the fall routine, please feel free to join us.
September would be great. And we have breakout rooms also, which will be beginning again, where you can break out with the same people every week and carry on a bit of a conversation week to week following that 1-hour service.
Right.
So there's also going to be a time for everyone to gather. We're calling it an all gather in September outside at Gage Park.
Yep, September the 19th.
September the 19th.
Sunday.
It's a Sunday at
11.
Nice.
And that's just an opportunity again for us to get together and just be in a space together outside. We're going to have a really super short liturgy of some kind. We might sing an a cappella hymn together. We encourage you to bring a snack or your lunch or a blanket or whatever is comfortable for you to just spend a little bit of time and see each other in person before we re-engage in October.
Totally. And all this is on the website if you want the details. The other thing for September is that the prayer room in our sanctuary is going to be carrying on. And this has become my favorite part of kind of church life over the summer, has actually been being at that building on Sunday afternoons. So from 2 to 6, the space is opened up. 2 o'clock, we have an hour of singing together, Taizé style singing. You can Google Taizé if you're interested. It's a beautiful kind of repetitive chanting kind of singing with masks on and very distant, but it's been a good space. And then the sanctuary is just open. People come in and sit in silence. There are different activities around the room. It's great for kids even. There's a painting collage kind of area in the corner that lots of kids have been loving. So if you haven't been out to the prayer room, we'd love to have you come out on Sundays throughout September from 2 to 6.
And then we haven't completely figured out what's going to happen with that prayer space come October, but we're hoping to continue to have that open. Might be another day of the week or another couple of days of the week, but we are really recognizing that has been a really meaningful space for people, and so we're going to try to continue to build some of that into our going forward stuff in October.
And as for October,
yes,
we are aiming to regather in person. Should the Lord allow, with open hands?
Yes, we are hoping that will happen. According to COVID rules, you know that we still are pretty limited in terms of how many people we can have in the building at a time. I think probably 50 people is about a quarter of our capacity, so we're thinking that we probably will have 2 services, and we're moving those in our mind now to sort of Sunday morning, early afternoon-ish. So we potentially, this is all still pretty...
But as of now, we're looking at
10:30
and 1
right.
p.m.
Yep.
They'd each be 1-hour services.
Yep.
And then we'd love to have those breakout rooms continue in person. So you could go with the same people every week down to the park. You could sit in the building with the same people every week and do a 20-30 minute kind of debrief of what we were discussing together, what we're meditating on together, and also give people a chance to connect or reconnect with people that they might not see otherwise. And our hope is that after the first service, we'd have a breakout room following that, but that before the second service, they would have a breakout room before the gathering to chew on what we're going to be talking about. And the reason, although it's a little awkward to have one after, one before, our thought is that by having people come on both sides of those 2 services, there's a greater chance that the wider congregation gets to run into each other, either at J.C. Beamer Park or in the sanctuary, or in the building or outside, just to create that flow, because we're not going to be together as a whole community for a while. But if people are interacting, or in the prayer room there's so many interactive elements, it might begin to feel a little bit like, well, we may not be all together at the same time, we are crossing through the same space across different times. And it might create a bit of a sense of a spiritual church, even while we can't physically gather in full.
Right. And we've talked a lot together about kids and what potentially to do about a kids program. And what we have ultimately for the moment come up with is that we just need to pause the idea of having little kids in having a Sunday school service for the time being. At one point we thought maybe we'd have one service that had kids present. We may get there if later on in the year, but for now we just recognize that probably for parents that the idea of bringing their children into yet another bubble of children feels kind of intimidating and daunting, and so that we're probably better off to just leave that aside for the time being. So neither one of those services will have child care per se. If you have a child that you feel is able to be in the service, and either someone who's just happy to sit with you and color or whatever, or school age kids that might be interested in coming and participating in the service, they are super welcome to do that, and we'd love to have them.
And parents would want you to know as well, or anyone who's got kids in your life that you might bring to this, we are intentionally also aiming that the style of the gathering and the content and delivery of the gathering won't have anything in it that wouldn't make sense to all ages. So, I've got a 5-year-old at home, Clementine, and I'm really trying to think, could my daughter to some degree follow all of this enough, And so we're hoping that if you've got kids who are a little bit older, school-aged, and they do come with you, that they're not going to be bored out of their skull. The services are going to be shorter and focused, and we're going to intentionally try to pull out some of that engagement or pull out some of those things that will make it feel to them like they are participating in something that's for all of us and not participating in the grown-up thing.
Yeah, and we're also hoping that for those of you who do have littles that are too young to bring to a service, that having the 2 services might actually provide you an opportunity for one parent to come and then do a lunch shift off thing, and then have the other parent come for the second service. So we're holding all of this with really open hands.
And we're really trying, because we know, like, we've gotten to connect with so many people from Eucharist over the summer, and, like, the relationships are continuing. We know how tiring and bizarre and strange this time is. Like, I know that currently, as we're doing this, my wife is making dinner with my son screaming on her back because he had to, like, it's just like life is crazy, and people, all these changes and uncertainties, and we don't want church to be another to-do, another burden. So, give us feedback as we go, but we really want to structure this in a way that equips us to just be able to be the salt and light in whatever the places are that God's calling us into, and that this is a time of refreshing, hopefully, to be able to engage in church community over the next couple of months.
So before October, we will give you considerable more detail about what exactly
like
that
what
will
exact
look like.
time we'll be starting at.
And we're going to try to keep the services pretty scaled back and simple and accessible and not fussy. But as I say, we'll give you more information about that before October.
The other thing that I wanted to just note on something more personal is that over the summer I've been doing a project on YouTube, a bit of like public theology, reflecting on all that I notice about how we as Eucharists talk about faith and theology and ethics and all this stuff, trying to share some of that with the wider world. And so that's now gathered up in a podcast, and it's called The Question Box with Kevin Makins. And if you go on YouTube or a podcast and search The Question Box, that'll come up. And if you've been interested in more teaching or more theological reflection when we've been doing these shorter services and keeping things a bit simple, that might be something that some of you would appreciate. And so check that out if you are looking for something else to chew on over these next couple of weeks. We got one more
And
thing?
we forgot.
Ooh, what is
The
it?
second service on Sundays, we will
Right.
plan to have a Zoom option as well. So we recognize that there are lots of you for whom coming back into being in person doesn't feel accessible right now, or maybe won't feel accessible for a long time. And we realize that having some sort of Zoom capacity has made church accessible for people, that we want to continue to be mindful of that. So the second service will have a Zoom piece as well, so you won't have to come in person.
Yeah. So, I mean, this sounds maybe like a lot. It is a bit of a lot.
It is a bit of a lot.
And we know that you're already carrying a lot, but thank you for your time. Thanks for watching and thinking through this with us. Please pray as we start to regather. Pray for, please pray for us, that we can stay bamboo and zen through all this. Pray for one another. Obviously pray for those in our community most affected by these COVID spikes and all that's going on, especially our healthcare workers. And we will see how God leads us. But I think that at this point we both feel that even though it's a little chaotic, God is up to something, and
Yeah.
things are growing.
And we're really looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, that'll be great. Everything will be on the website if you want just the highlight reels, eucharistchurch.ca, and all this information will be up there. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Grace and peace.
Grace and peace. Bye.